You ready? Dan, say the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody to our commission meeting. We got some people, Ron Jurgens and them will be on Zoom, so I guess if you have to present something today, hopefully talk loud enough so they can hear you. So do we have any additions to the agenda? Danny? No. Amy? No. Paul?
No.
Christie?
No.
I don't have any today. Surprising. Okay, do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda, the bills and the minutes from the last meeting?
You want to include these
Oh, the gaming permit?
gaming permits?
Well, they're usually in the,
The Adams one wasn't,
what's that? Yeah,
Adams firefighters wasn't.
let's do them separate then. Then we got one additional one, so it's just going to be the minutes, the bills and the agenda, so. Women first, Christie's, Danny second, all those in favor say.
Ernie, I've got a question on the bills. There was $162,000 payment in the pending to jail project miscellaneous expense, which comes out of the general fund. We only budgeted 35,000 in that, and we're drawing 162,000. So that's an additional drawdown of the general fund of, over $125,000 over budget, and I was just wondering if we could take that 35,000 out of that line item. And take the balance of that bill out of the capital projects fund.
I guess, maybe sooner or later, we never thought of doing this separate for the jail itself. So sooner or later, we'd have to transfer too, so I don't, does anybody have an objection to taking it out of the capital projects or? I don't see any, I see,
No, I don't have any objection to doing that, and Christina and I visited about that as well. I think there's going to be other bills, so do we wanna do it for each bill, or do we wanna wait just till maybe closer to the end of the year and do it all at once?
Well, it seems to me that the 5 million is there to cover these costs. I mean, it seems to me it should come right out of that capital projects, but
I'm fine with that.
I mean, if you guys wanna do
No,
a different
no.
way, there's basically $125,000 overage here that concerned me, so.
Yeah,
Be cleaner doing it that way.
yeah, sooner or later, we gotta do it, we might as well do it as they come. So do you wanna make a motion to do that, Paul?
Well, I guess we have the motion on the floor, if that motion could include that change. I don't know how you do that, but. Amend the motion.
So approval of the monthly bills with the jail miscellaneous project cost being designated to the capital projects.
Well, you can take the 35,000 out of the jail projects, cause that's what we budgeted.
So just the difference.
The difference, yeah.
So I guess I gotta make that motion that we change that motion, the amendment, does anybody wanna second the amendment? Second, any? Okay, all those in favor of adding basically the jail to be taken out of the capital funds, signify by saying yes. Paul?
Yes.
Christie?
Yes.
Danny?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Motion carried. Good point, Paul.
Okay.
Employee time.
I'll take this opportunity quick to introduce Tim Newman. Tim is our new emergency manager on county dispatch manager. Tim joined us last week. He arrived in state. So, and I know you guys were visiting with him a little bit prior to the meeting, but we're happy to have you on board, Tim.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
You wanna
Welcome.
Thank you.
stand up to talk about yourself a little bit, or tell everybody where you're from?
I do that. Sit in the hot seat. This is hot.
That's the hot seat.
You've been in that before.
Not here, elsewhere, so I have experience.
You got 5 minutes.
It'll take 5 minutes. So thank you for having me. Thank you for hiring me. I'm enjoying myself so far here. Just previously, I was doing some emergency management and incident command training, mostly online. I did teach a live class down in Flagstaff, Arizona back in November. But before that, I spent basically the whole month of October using Microsoft Teams to teach firefighters in Saudi Arabia who were primarily from South Africa, ICS 300 and 400, and taught four different groups of firefighters and their chiefs and assistant chiefs, how to use the incident command system to the higher than their basic online training had been to that point. So that was very interesting. Spent a year as emergency manager in Kansas. Before that, I was 9.5 years as the emergency management director in Scottsbluff County and Banner counties in Nebraska, and that's in the Nebraska Panhandle, right up against the Wyoming border. I had the largest and the smallest two counties in the Panhandle region, which is 11 counties. Scottsbluff County is about 36,000, and Banner County was less than 700 people. Banner County didn't even have an incorporated city or village. Their county seat was a census designated place. So that was very interesting. I enjoyed it very much there. I have dispatched for a large dispatch center down in Alabama, 911 center. And we had, at the time that I was there, we had 8 positions, and we filled 8 dispatch positions, and we filled 6 of them every night. They have since expanded to 14 positions in that county, and I think they have 10 or 12 of those filled. So they've built for expansion. I was a certified training officer for that facility through APCO, and I was an acting supervisor for a while until they filled the spot. So been dispatching off and on since '89. Started with a private ambulance service as an EMT, and then we rotated through as dispatchers, mostly at night. We had a daytime, full-time dispatcher. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. Ever since I was, I graduated high school in '87, and since '89 I've been in this kind of work. So.
Well, as you can see, Tim brings a lot of experience and everything to Wash County, and welcome to Wash County.
Thank you. I just ask for a little bit of patience to wrap my head around what I've got to accomplish here. And I'm ready to get to it.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I have one more quick employee update. I was just gonna update the commissioner that the contract position is unfortunately still open. We did conduct an interview, but unfortunately it's still open. So just letting you know that is an ongoing search. So
You're up next again, Tanya, but before that, I guess I wanna I don't know if I'm gonna speak for all the commission, send condolences over to Grand Forks County for the death of Cynthia Peach. I don't know if you guys knew her. I was on some boards with her. Very nice lady, and especially her husband and their family. So I guess from the Wash County Commission, I'd like to send our condolences. Very nice person. Way too young, so. Tanya?
yep, so I have 2 things on the agenda. What would you like to start with?
Whatever you want.
Okay, I know we have several that are gonna be joining into the jail discussion, so we can just go to that if that's okay with the commission. I'm not even gonna take the hot seat, honestly, because I'm simply gonna hand it over to construction engineers, and Ella Bonis is on with us as well on Zoom, so I will step in after that.
Morning, Chairman Marta, Commissioners, thanks for having us in today. Mike, Ben and Lance with Construction Engineers. We've got an update, on the status of the design and the cost estimates with the jail project. There's a number of the team members are on, Zoom or online, as well as, Sheriff Ron. I think we'd start today's, session off going through the updated, brief update of the 30% design status, with Dave and the folks at Elevatus. Then we can talk a little bit about the current cost estimate as it relates to that plan and the design and where it stands. And then talk about some next steps, scheduling and that sort of thing. So, we do have a bit of, as I said, a little bit of a prepared session, some handouts and things, but, we're here as long as you'd like, ask some questions. Dave and Elevatus, I should turn it over to you for that design update. Is that cool? Great.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna turn it over to Greg Whaley. He's gonna lead the presentation.
Yeah.
Dave, we handed out the SD package, that you all forwarded yesterday, so they do have that in hand. However, if you want to go online, that's great too.
Could
Okay.
I share my screen for the floor plan? It says like it's disabled. Yeah, it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Working on it, here we go.
Okay,
So as I'm looking at these plans, north is to the right, right?
correct.
Yes.
Okay.
I had to look at the sheet too, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Well, we did it before. Where we allowed sharing,
Screen share right there.
There we go.
let's see if that was.
Try it now, Greg.
It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
We've all got hard copies too, so very great. Just get started on.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, probably, I can find out.
Yeah, that's what I just said, I need to make a send off.
Here it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Right now, Greg.
A lot of computers.
Yeah, I know.
I just have to change our settings. Let me set up the meeting in Zoom, so I don't have to struggle with it.
There we go.
There we go.
We
All
can
right.
see, Greg.
You see that now?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Greg Whaling with Elevatus, wanted to run through the plan as we have made some reductions over the last month or so. The plan is basically the same. It's just a little more efficient, and we've cut out about 4,000 square feet out of the plan. And I'll start with the housing area. So this area here, we originally had 7 classifications, which different classifications. One of them was just for a trustee dorm or a worker dorm, so it was only 4 beds, so not a great loss, and we put those beds in this larger dorm area. So we have a classification for male medium, male max, and another male medium, and then we've got a female max and female medium, along with a gender flex dorm situation where depending on capacity, numbers of men or women, you can use this dorm area. So we have still 46 beds. So the layout is relatively the same. Behind all of the housing area, we have chases, rear chase, all steel cells, and with those rear chases, that it just allows secure repair, somebody to go back behind and not be out in the day room with tools and things like that. So makes it much more secure to and safe for workers and employees to have people working behind the scenes as opposed to out in the day rooms. The green area, the light green, that is the intake or booking area, and in this space we've got a drop cell, we've got a padded cell, a single bunk cell, and a double bunk cell. So and a group holding cell. So we've got several types of the ability to hold people and keep separate how whatever their physical or mental needs are. We've got the 2-car vehicle sally port in this area. We've got a pre-booking area with location for a body scanner. This is also for breathalyzer, conduct breathalyzer deal there. We've got an intake desk there's inmate property storage, there's a dress in, dress out area as people are coming in or coming out. They can have a place to change. There's a fingerprint photo area. And then we've got several offices and break rooms. We have a office, break room, security electronics room, inmate toilet, shower area in case they need to clean up, say, before they go back into the dorm. We have a video arraignment, medical cart, and an exam area. So that's basically the kind of the intake processing area, along with 2 interview rooms, one for the inmate side and one for attorney or bail bonds personnel. So that's pretty much what we have right here. The work release area is in this pink area. We've got 2 beds for female and 4 beds for the men. And in this area, we've got the kitchen and laundry. Last time we talked about just a warming kitchen. We've got a space for warming kitchen, along with additional space for future equipment for a prep kitchen. And we've got, I think that's called out in the budgeting as far as additional equipment for future. We've got laundry facility in this area, and then mechanical space. One area that we'll talk about a little bit more is this elevator and stair, where last time we talked about accessing the courtroom through this location, going up the elevator and into the courtroom. A pretty expensive item. One thing we're looking at as a possibility, and we can talk about it more today, is inmates to court going from out this sally port here, down the walkway, and behind a gated area here between the building, the jail, and the courtroom, bringing the inmates down and coming in this east door on the lower level of the courthouse, and then going up to the courtroom. Similar to the route today, which is going through this door and into the up to the courthouse. So that is, I think, then just briefly, we've changed to rooftop units. Right now, we've shown two rooftop units on the roof that are in this, would be in this area. One of them feeds the housing area, and one of them feeds the balance of the facility. We've got for that equipment right now, we show that some screen wall around the mechanical units. That is another item that is on the value engineering line, and we can talk about that further today also. The exterior of the building is all precast panel.
Why don't you jump to a quick elevation, Greg, and then we can pause for any kind of design questions. Is that cool? You have that on there?
Yeah, just
It's worth showing you have it. It's good.
okay. So the elevations, which were at this point the texture or any detailing on the precast is not there yet. We're just too early for that. But basically, this is the height of the courthouse, and then from looking from the west, this would be the profile of the jail. So it is, less than half the height of the courthouse itself. This would be the back in the housing area, and then it steps down just a couple feet over the balance of the area. And this is looking from Summit Avenue to the west. Again, the jail here, and then with the courthouse behind. So that's roughly what we've got going right now. I don't know if there's specific questions we want to talk about, or just switch over to construction engineers and their estimate.
Any design related questions at this time for Greg and Dave?
Inmate transfer. What is that again?
So, Greg, can you show that potential route and was the idea that's being considered? And we've talked to Sheriff Ron about that a little bit, but I think it's worth considering and taking a visit on. Good question.
I'm sorry. So the question was,
That alternate inmate route versus the.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Hey,
I'm
actually,
sorry.
Greg, can I interject here?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Go
You
ahead, Dave.
talked about a route out that Sally Port and around through that gate, but I think we can just put a Sally Port right where the elevator is right now. See you're in front of the elevator there?
Yeah.
Sally Port right there, and go out into the court, into that areaway and into the,
Oh. Yeah.
that'd be a lot
Okay. I
better.
see. Yeah. I see what you're saying, Dave. Yeah. We just haven't talked through that enough, but yeah, that's a great idea to really come through here and out into this courtyard, which would be fenced off. We have a gate here, but this is accessible for. We would have concrete paving in here with area drains for melting snow, and also would try to have this where it's easily cleaned with a tractor, and have the gate appropriately sized so we can push snow and get through. But this would be a door here going out into this courtyard, and then down this east door.
What's the
Does
width of that alley or whatever you wanna call it, where the gate is? From the building?
This is 13 feet on this side, and it's about 10 and a half feet on this side. 10 and a half feet is the minimum. 10 feet is the minimum that it can be, these buildings be located, as far as how close.
Commissioner. If you add a Sally Port then to that, you'll be too close to the courthouse. It could be.
Well, if we don't have this elevator and stair here, then that allows us to, I mean, we can create a Sally Port just right here, the door, from the mechanical room, and a door on this side and a door out. And so
control entrance, I guess, will be a better.
So was it such a high cost that you're sort of looking at it?
We'll get into that.
Okay.
And the thing is, you'll see the basement number, we have this elevator, stair, all this stuff in there, and tell you what it's worth, and not do that. And it's really for keeping people inside at all times, where the sheriff can take them from the jail to the courthouse without being outside. And then, lost my train of thought with that, but there's also video arraignment was one thing that Greg touched on there too. So in some cases, they wouldn't have to leave, or they can turn the jail, they can do it from there.
I'm just for that walkway again. Would it cost much more to make it wider? I'm just sort of leery that, you get a Bobcat in there and somebody running it just so we don't wreck both buildings with the Bobcat. And it happens.
Chairman, and I think that offset is design driven or offset from the street as well, but I think it's something that Greg and they can look at. Any comments on that, Dave?
Well, just to explain the areaway, it's 10 feet plus so that we don't have to fire rate all of the windows on the courthouse. If it's closer than 10 feet, we'd have to put new fire rated windows and glazing in all those openings. So that's why we
Yeah.
moved it 10 feet. The vehicle sally port, I don't know where that falls relative to the setback right now.
Right.
Do you know,
Uh,
Greg? I mean, if there is some latitude, I guess we could move it.
I'm gonna say it's probably 20 feet.
Mr. Chair.
Kelly, oh, yeah. Kelly?
Just to clarify, so there's the thought that, they would use the existing hallway and elevator to go upstairs into the courtroom, is that correct? So, under that plan, the inmates would be in the public hallways with everybody else and the elevators with everybody else, potential victims, those sort of things, just so that I can clarify that. Okay. That's my understanding, okay.
Amy?
I'm not a fan of having them outside at any point. I feel like that's part of why we wanted this new space, was to be able to protect our jailers, our sheriff, so I'm not a fan of that at all, and that's the other reason I'm not a fan, because then we're basically doing the same thing we're doing now, which is exposing people unnecessarily, so.
Oh,
Well, if, instead of putting the sally port where the elevator is, couldn't you just move it to the end of that mechanical room and then all you'd have to do is.
what, then you got all the intake stuff that you're gonna.
I don't know, I'm just, if you put it on the corner,
Right, like you don't go outside.
Whole
walkway inside it.
a controlled walkway, that's what I'm trying to get at. It's just a straight shot across that 10 feet instead of outside sidewalk, because even if you come out of that elevator. I think you could potentially have snow building up in there.
will have some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be full of snow.
It could be what?
Full of snow.
Any other questions for now?
Ron, are you on?
Yes, I am.
What's your thoughts on that?
I'm hopeful we can still find the money to complete the elevator project. If not, that is the alternative to it, is going in that door. So I agree with Paul. I would like to see if we can get that opening as close to that entrance to the courthouse as possible.
Chairman, we can, Elevatus folks, I think that was some good feedback. Maybe we can move into the estimate review and that'll help with some commentary here too. So I'll kind of kick this off. So since we've last met in end of December, 1st of the year, we've been meeting weekly with Elevatus, reviewing the plans and the needs of the county, working with Elevatus for them to get things on paper. As Greg mentioned, at first, we had a little bit of a scope creep, the square footage got a little bit bigger. We talked to them and said, listen, guys. The county's talked about their budget goals. We need to tighten up this plan a little bit. We need to start thinking about some ideas. We're able to work with them to reduce some square footage, which in turn helps keep things in line with the budget. So we thank you for giving us a couple extra weeks to come back and put some more information together on that. As we talked about with this CMAR process, we're obligated to deliver 4 design phase estimates. We've done a couple internally. This is the first, presentation to you all at the 30% plus design phase. Lance and his team of estimators have been digging into this stuff. You saw the drawings. That's that schematic or 30% design package. We've taken that information along with our jail expertise and knowledge and experience from projects here and around the area and developed that into this sheet that we have in front of you today. So Lance, why don't you take them through this sheet and how we do these things? We can have some questions and then some of it'll make sense with some of the discussion regarding the elevator and some other things too. So go ahead, Lance, I'll get out of the way.
Sure. I would like to start and just talk about the total first, because that's what everybody's trying to find anyway. So if you go to this kind of dark gold line, The 24.6 million is where we're sitting right now. Just to the right of there, you can see, so it's 830,000 over budget. I'd say before you start sweating, this is where projects always start. So it's not time to pump the brakes, it's not time to get worried about it. It's just part of the process. I'm gonna start back at the top and I'll explain our sheet. I look at it every day, so sometimes I gotta remember that this doesn't look familiar to you. The first section in dark blue is the building construction costs. The section below that in light blue is basically permits, bonds, insurance fees, so that's all generally percentage-based numbers that just carry down from the construction costs. So then the gold line you see at the bottom there is our total construction budget. Section below that in gray is soft costs. So those are any costs that you have for the project that isn't part of construction engineer's contract. I'll go through those a little bit after I get done with this, and then the bottom section in light green is value engineering and alternate items. So starting again back up at the top, our construction budget right now is roughly 14 million. You had the 2.8 in permits, bonds, insurance fee for just under 17 million construction costs. Couple things I'll point out, the bottom two items in that light blue section are design construction contingency. So design contingency is basically money that's set aside to allow for changes in the design as we move forward. At this phase, at SD, we usually see somewhere around that 10% range for design contingency. Once it goes out to bid, that design contingency will go to zero because all of that design is now in the project. Sometimes it's easy to say, hey, let's just take that 1.2 million out and then we're 400,000 under budget instead of 800,000 over budget. Which is kind of fair way to think about it, but having appropriate contingencies up in the cost and showing that we're a little bit over budget applies the appropriate amount of pressure to the team to say, we need to, you know, when we meet a fork in the road and one way is a little less expensive and one way is a little more, we know that we need to be taking the less expensive route. So although that money is going to go to zero right now, I feel like what we have there is appropriate to keep us all motivated in the right direction. Soft costs, you see the design and design related expenses. And then there's some items like IT phone, FF&E, which is furniture, fixtures and equipment. You can see we've got a bond council cost item off to the right. We're not carrying any money in our soft cost roll up right now. Typically, we would see that come out of the general fund and not out of your project fund. But you guys are in complete control of this whole gray section. We're trying to track it to give you the picture of your total project. So as you look through that, if you see items that you think, hey, this should be less, this should be more, again, it's really for your informational purposes. And then as we get to the bottom, owner contingency, right now we're including another 3% owner contingency, so that we would typically like to see you carry that into construction so that when you guys are walking the site and you see something that you don't like, something you want to change, something you forgot about that you want to add, you got a pocket of funds there available so that you don't have to go back to the well and say, where are we gonna find this $100,000 to do this thing that we really feel like we need to be doing? So take that down to the green line, 19.6. Right now, we're just carrying a flat $5 million placeholder for the courthouse project for the mechanical. We felt, in talking with the mechanical engineer, that $5 million mark is a comfortable place. Right now, there hasn't been a lot of design on the courthouse project yet. It's going to be kicking off here sooner than later. But the jail needs to start first, so the design right now is concentrating on the jail, so we can get that started. Get that moving, mechanical work. The courthouse will happen at the same time, a lot of mechanical work in the jail. So there's a little bit of a gap there where there's time to then switch gears and say, okay, now let's focus on the courthouse. So that's why that is just right now a single line item. There's a little more detail behind that, but for simplicity, we're showing it as just one lump sum. That number does include the blue, dark blue, light blue, and gray of its own. That makes sense, all inclusive at 5 million. Again, so that brings us down to that dark gold at 24.6. And we look for some options. At every design phase, we're gonna have some kind of alternates, whether they're add or deduct. That are just, hey, as we're going through, here's things that we should at least talk about and decide whether we wanna capitalize on these savings or whether we wanna spend this additional funds. So right now, we've got 3 voluntary deduct alternates. One is to reduce the generator sizing. So there's. In a perfect world, you'd have a generator that just backs up all your electricity, and when the power goes out, nobody even knows, because the generator just took over everything. That's a very expensive option. You know, at a minimum, you need life safety, like for the courthouse. You need, you know, power goes out now, you probably have battery powered lights that come on. Those are like life safety, get you out of the building in the case of a power outage. There's lots of different levels you can go to say, well, let's keep the mechanical equipment running, but not necessarily all the lights. We don't need to be able to work all day in our office if the power goes out, but we need to keep the building warm. So that option below is something less completely business as normal, nobody even knows that the power went out.
Or
So-
courthouse, not the, right,
Right, yes,
What was that?
for the courthouse, not the.
Okay.
yeah.
Commissioner, go ahead.
I just wanted to show you, this generator would power both buildings?
Correct. I would say we don't need 100%, hey, this is what we're doing to answer on this item right now. It's just floating out, hey, there's potential $500,000 that we could save by doing something a little less than, you know, the absolute
I was
best.
just gonna say, didn't we just replace that generator over there, not that long ago?
Yeah, there's a generator for the
jail?
for outside, but most of that is for inside. There's 2 different generators that are over there. And those 2, the one that's inside the admin building actually goes to the sheriff's office. The one that's outside is kind of a shared use between the sheriff's office and the health department. Or in dispatch to keep that running on that. The courthouse does not have a generator design, but DES did just put out a grant application for it too, so I could throw something together at them to see if we can get some money from them for a generator for this project.
I think to summarize that, number one, between us and Elevatus, we wanted to make sure we identified that as a big ticket item, let's find the right solution. It just kind of was one of those, like, we really need to study that. Good.
I just wanna make sure I understand too, the $5 million for the HVAC. That does include new HVAC for the courthouse as well.
Just the courthouse, that $5 million is all allocated to the courthouse mechanical project.
Okay, so are we gonna have separate mechanical? I mean,
You're likely gonna have a little bit of both, so. If you have a hot water boiler, that's very easy to distribute to 2 different buildings. If you have an air handling unit, not so much. So, you know, like the jail right now, I think has 2 air handling units. I would imagine that the courthouse is gonna have its own air handling unit, but probably boilers will be shared hot water between the 2.
Jason?
ESG, one of the first things that they had done was only on the courthouse, they were gonna be underneath that $5 million price. So with that, we'd have, I think they were like at 3.4, 3.5, somewhere in there, with what they had looked at for the study they had done just on the courthouse when we didn't know the jail was going through. So with that, we'd have $1 million available from the courthouse that we could put into the combination of, into the jail. So.
Okay, thank you.
The next voluntary alternate is removing the screen wall. But basically, put a big air handling unit up on the roof. You're driving by, you look over, you see an air handling unit on the roof. It's not that unusual, but it's not, it's not an architectural piece either. So in the basement, we have, what we call a screen wall. The example I always think of is if you're in Grand Forks, when you get out to MERS, across the railroad tracks, there's a building there that has large mechanical equipment, and they've got a screen wall that's like front and center on their building. So next time you're cruising by there, maybe just take a look. It doesn't make the things disappear. It just makes them look a little more architectural, so it's got a colored screen instead of a mechanical box. Again, it's a little bit personal preference. If you drive around, chances are you haven't noticed a lot of mechanical units on the roof because you don't care. But it is an aesthetic thing, so we just wanted to give an option there. Again, not a thing that you need to decide on today. It could carry into an alternate all the way up to the end if.
And probably there for historical sensitivity, you're looking at a second, third floor courthouse windows. It would provide some
Right,
street where you wouldn't see those units as much from the
right,
courthouse.
and that's, you would notice it more from inside the courthouse than you would from the street. If you ever been in the hospital, peer out the window, you kind of know what that looks like. There's usually lots of stuff all over those roofs. The last, VE alternate is what we talked about earlier, removing the elevator and the walkway to the courthouse, about $620,000. The majority of that chunk is the elevator, was the elevator like 300 some thousand when it got added by itself?
We added one late in the game at Grand Forks County, and it was closer to 400,000, because of the time we put it in, but yeah, about 400.
Yeah, so with the elevator upstairs comes a connection to the building. That's an item that we probably want to decide on kind of as soon as possible. Just because there's a lot that changes to the building. Ben's gonna talk a little bit about schedule, we're hoping for approval to move into CD, or basically final design for some portions of the building. And to move to DD or design development for the remainder, so. In the interest in being able to run from a design standpoint, locking in the building shell is important, so that we know what the foundations and what the outer walls look like, so. I won't say you have to decide today, but the sooner the better, today would be great. But I understand you're just like getting this information too, so. I know there's a lot of numbers that I didn't go through in detail, so I'll be quiet for a minute and let you guys look, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to dig in.
Sort of curious, what's the difference between a prep kitchen and a warming kitchen?
Equipment, basically. I don't know exactly what pieces change, but if you can imagine one where you're like bringing all your food in and it's done and you're putting it in a warmer and then you're plating it. The other one would be another level of preparation.
Keep going.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, if we were to reduce the generator sizing, we'd save $524,000. Remove the screen wall, we'd save $137,000. Could we leave the elevator in then, and then we'd only be, was it a few $100,000 over budget? Is that the way I'm seeing it? I think that elevator is just a key. I think that's very important, if we can try to keep that in any way possible. I agree, we don't want our inmates walking through and riding up the elevator with victims, that wasn't really the point of this.
Sure.
Yep.
So I would be more willing to sacrifice the screen wall and the generator sizing and keep the elevator, and hopefully maybe when we get to the end of this, we see that we do have money for a screen wall or for the generators, right? Because we're just not really sure at this point, correct?
Maybe
Yeah.
talk about that, Lance, and where you feel you're at with everything.
Yeah, so it is very early, so we have detailed pricing. Our estimates are accurate, but there is a lot to happen between now and then, so I think that's a great way to look at it. Screen wall is an easy add alternate. The generator sizing, I feel like has some working out to do, but really just having the understanding of of like, hey, we would love the option to have a full backup for the courthouse, we don't have to have it. I think that's enough information for us to say, okay, we'll move in that direction and have that again as another add alternate. That's, I don't wanna speak for the design team, but I feel like that's relatively easy to have that as an option.
Well,
So bond council costs are zero, but potentially up to 400,000. Could you explain what that is?
Yeah, I'll let,
Yeah, I guess we put it over to the side. Typically, when we worked with counties in the past, you'll ask for a set bond amount that you're asking for. So you want 23 whatever dollars of funds to come to the county. Typically, those fees and everything are paid to that bond group above and beyond that not from the proceeds that you're going to receive. So I think you're gonna have to pay them obviously something, but our assumption is your budget is the project budget. And then it's not gonna reduce the proceeds that you wanna get from the bonds. If that makes sense.
yeah, like that you're putting in money to get the bond and not pulling that money back out. Again, that gray area is you're in control, so you tell us. If you see an item in there that doesn't make sense to you, obviously, design is between you and your design team, but like IT phone, FF&E. We're putting in placeholders there. And that's money that we expect you to spend on something else outside of our contract.
Any other questions?
But it's part of the overall cost.
Right, we're trying to give you a picture of everything you're gonna spend on this job, so that's why Ben said. We got over to the right side, cause we know you're gonna have to spend some money to get that bond. We're just assuming that it isn't coming out of the 23 program.
And regarding the other soft costs, I worked with the sheriff and got numbers from him on, new handcuffs and leg irons for the jail, new issue clothing for the inmates, new mattresses, and all these stuff that goes into the jail. So we worked with him to come up with most of these numbers that are included in that FF&E number, just so you know that. And Lance or Mike or Ben, do you want to talk about the schedule at all and what your goals are for the schedule?
I have a question.
Yeah, one more question.
What is commissioning, the 45,000 for commissioning, did I miss that?
No, so commissioning is basically hiring a third party mechanical professional to come in and verify that your mechanical systems are doing what they were designed to do. Technically, it's been a code requirement for like 5 years. It's not enforced. I'd say it makes more sense as you get into bigger, more complex projects. I don't know that I wanna tell you in the setting that it's not required, but it technically is. I can just tell you that it's probably done on like 25% of the projects we do, so. It's probably something worth looking into and talking about more, but yeah, it's just a verification of somebody coming in and saying. Yes, this was designed to do this and it's doing it.
Does it make any difference on your insurance rating?
Don't think so. It's really energy efficiency and making sure that your equipment is working the way it's supposed to be.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'll touch on schedule a little bit. So what we're looking at and why we're here today is to try and get a motion to move forward for the design team so they can move into the next phase of design. So what works best for Walsh County, North Dakota, we feel, is to get in the ground as quickly as we can so we can capitalize on this as much of the summer as we can, because winter comes fast. We're not out of this one, but the next one's coming very soon. So what we would ask of you today, and we're hoping for, is for you to move forward with construction documents for the shell, the site, the foundation packages on the building. So what that allows us to do is come out, allow us to finish up that portion of the drawings by roughly mid-April, we're thinking. We would then take roughly a month on our end, so mid-April to mid-May, to collect numbers, go out to bid, publicly advertise for Century Code requirements. Then we come back to you and ask for approval of the GMP for a portion of the guaranteed maximum price for the items that I was just talking about. So we would have firm completed numbers for all the earthwork to concrete, precast, anything civil related to the building. That would be roughly the end of May then. So assuming everything's still in line and you guys would have to move forward and accept our GMP at the end of May, then we would issue subcontracts, collect all the shop drawings, those types of things, so that we can start construction late June, maybe 4th of July, something like that, and get as much in the ground completed and get things like precast that take multiple months on order, steel on order, those types of things. So what we end up doing then is kind of working 2 tracks. So those items that I'm describing right now can be designed without a lot of, without all those minor details figured out yet. So the design team would still need more time to complete electrical, doors and finishes and all those things that are later in the project and that we as a construction company don't need as early. So they could run on a separate path to where we would come back with a completed set of drawings. They would now move into design development drawings for all those items and then wrap that up maybe in July or something like that, where we could have a full and final number for you for the jail later in the summer, maybe August or something like that. So what we're trying to do is fast track and get in the ground for you as quickly as we can by moving forward in EV for finishes and construction documents for the Sheldon site. So that's our ask today. And I guess if Alonis wants to expand on that, I would put the, well,
Anything else?
Dave or Greg, any comments on the schedule?
No, the schedule, that sounds exactly right. So yeah, we just would like to move forward into CDs on the shell and foundations and civil work. And then as was discussed, move on with the balance of the project. That'll be going hand in hand with the design for the balance of it, the MEP and the rest of the detention equipment and things like that. So I guess at this point we would to add, we would be hearing the desire for the elevator and stair. We would be designing going forward with that portion of the design, and if that changes, then we would need to know that. But if at this point we would move forward with the connection to the courthouse.
Everybody good with that? Move forward with the first sign of the connection to the courthouse?
Yes.
Okay. Are you looking for?
And I don't think on that aspect, I don't think you need a motion. I was already in
Yeah.
the scope. We were just bringing it up for discussion. You need a motion has been discussed on those next
Construction.
on the next phases, yes.
From last meeting, when there was an update, I would feel a lot more comfortable if at every meeting we have an update on where audits are. That was brought up last time and there was a schedule in place, but I would feel a lot better if we knew where things were with those.
So everything's submitted for the audits, so we're just waiting on Bailey. Right now, the tentative schedule was that they would get us a preliminary report and then we would have the final report to accept the end of March for 2022. And then the state auditor's office approved that we could do 2023 and 2024 together on a cash basis. So that will move those 2 years through quicker.
Explain that cash basis.
So I think what that means is that we'll submit what we have to them, but they won't be looking so much into the details like they did in 2022. As we were getting set up with Bailey, and so they can take limited samples from what we submit, whereas with 2022, we really have to submit a lot of information for them to get the structure set up for the 2022. Jared Mack from my Bailey was confident that if it got approved, which it did, we would be able to get 2023 and 2024 done at the same time, and it would take around 4 months.
Right, he had mentioned possibly July, right? May, June, July. Does that sound right? August, May, June, July, August. Yeah, he said it was a big win to have the state auditor approve a modified cash basis for 23 and 24. So that will speed up the audit.
So I get, excuse me, I guess I'm looking for a motion to move ahead and sign the
I'll
construction.
make a motion to approve the schematic design of the Walsh County Jail as presented and approved. Allow us to continue into the construction document phase with underground utilities, site grading, building foundation, precast panels, and into design development for the balance of the project.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
What he said, we got a motion to move forward.
I don't know, but
That was
Yeah.
thorough.
That was thorough, thank you again. So we got a motion and a second. We'll go through roll call. All those in favor? Paul,
No,
Christie,
Yes.
Danny,
yes.
Amy,
No.
myself, yes. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you.
I believe all of it.
Tanya, before you get going, I'm gonna ask for, we didn't do those gaming permits at the beginning. I'm gonna ask for a motion to accept the gaming permit and add this Adams firefighter.
I will make a motion to issue an permit, I guess.
Okay, you got a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve all the gaming permits? All those in favor? Danny?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Christie?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Motion carries. Now I won't forget. Okay, Tanya, thank you.
I just have, I handed out earlier, a sample exit interview policy. This is something that I believe Amy shared with everybody a while back. I believe that went to all of you. This is a modified version of what you originally saw. It just talks about the purpose, why we are doing it. I'm gonna draw attention to each little, like the kind of the big things in each section. So under policy statement, we have in here that feedback collected will be reviewed only in aggregate. There were a couple statements in this original draft that talked about confidentiality. So it shows like even in method, I forgot to cross out that first line. It says a confidential written survey. I think it's really important to understand that this will not be confidential, right? Because this isn't one of the records that falls under any of the exempt or confidential statutes. So it's important to know that any record created will be an open record, okay? So that confidential, I should have crossed out that part in your method. I did cross out the other confidential words, I believe. That's just something that's really important to know. And while I understand, I think the purpose, like our underlying point, like when Amy brought this up, is just wanting to make sure we collect that data in aggregate. What are the trends, right? What are some of the themes that we're seeing repeatedly? Amy and I had a little discussion about it, and we talked about how we could accomplish that a little bit more easily. If it's something that we're not collecting names, we're having like surveys completed, and then we compile the data from that survey and we look at it maybe biannually or, at quarterly or annually, whatever it might be. That might be a little bit more about what like Amy was originally thinking about when she brought this up. But you see here how we kind of spelled out various things, but I just really wanted to discuss specifically that confidentiality piece of it, because it won't be confidential because of all the methods, right? It is a record and it's not gonna fall under the exempt or confidential statutes. And so, it can be, right now, we just have it where there's a paper survey. They can fill it out on their own, but we do ask for their name on that current form. So if we wanted to go more this direction, we wouldn't be collecting name. We're small enough, right? Let's be honest, we're small enough that we're gonna still probably understand, if I pull a survey, I might be able to know, what department or something like that. But I guess I wanted to have a discussion about what your purpose is and what's the point of this, because I could utilize Survey Monkey. We have a Survey Monkey tool, right? And we could collect generic data with that tool where there is no names at all being collected. We don't even ask that question, right? And I can compile that, whatever, every 6 months or whatever it might be. On the very last page, Amy, you had asked about turnover trends. And so this is a very, very quick and dirty sort of calculation, because I didn't, it's not super methodical, but I did a quick check myself. And I think approximately in the last 5 years, our turnover rate is approximately 21% overall, which is high. There's no denying that. That's on the high end. However, I went through and I removed all the retirements, and it brings us down to 17%, which isn't terribly out of line, right? The average, I couldn't get really accurate 25 figures when I was doing some quick research, but the average 24 was at 18%, 22 and 23 was up at 26%. This was just nationwide, right? So this is just giving you kind of a snapshot of how we look compared to other agencies. It is something, of course, turnover rates they vary widely by industry, right? So certain industries struggle with it a lot more. I didn't have time, but I would honestly be really curious to look at like turnover rates in corrections and dispatch. Those are industries I bet that have really high turnover rates. Because those are difficult jobs. People get into them and they don't realize what it entails. And I can say, with full transparency, with all of the locations that I work with multiple locations, of course, all of those jails have high turnover rates, all of them do, it's just an industry where it's harder to keep people. So I would bet that that's high, if we looked at it, nationwide average, but, so this is just, do you have any questions, I guess, for me? Or comments, feedback?
Mr. Chair, I do see there being a. Maybe, the exit interview policy being more. You know, they're exiting their position, we want the data, you know, we know that that's an open record. What I would like to get at, and that's where Tanya and I talked about is us just being open to hearing from people who are leaving, the good and the bad, and so that we do offer them an opportunity. You know, I mean, that's the reality is that we sometimes have to look in the mirror to say, are there things that are trends that we could be addressing with as a county to be better? And so that's more so what I'm looking for when it comes to this. So it may not be a policy, you know, the exit interview policy, I think still could be tweaked a little bit in terms of what we're looking for as they go. But I am a fan of a Survey Monkey or something that provides them an anonymous way to provide feedback to us. And I understand that sometimes, you know, depending on how people leave, that can be super charged and emotional, and you know, we have to kind of fall in the middle of what we're using, but I also am okay and humble enough to say, you know what? We probably could be better, and we do need to hear that feedback from our former employees of maybe ways we can be better.
I really like the idea of a Survey Monkey as well, or a quarterly report, because then you can look for a theme, a recurring theme. You know, you might have one employee that doesn't like the way something's done, but when you start having multiple employees that all bring it up, it really opens your eyes. So I do like that idea of some type of quarterly or
Sure.
semi-annual report.
Paul?
I agree with that, you know, the exit interview information is important, but if we never see it, it doesn't do us much good, and. I have a question, and you have some changes to this document.
Or based on, yeah, I do, yes, so changes based on what the original one that cause I believe Amy shared it with all of you, I believe, maybe?
No, not the policy, I
Okay,
shared,
then-
no.
Okay, my apologies then, I was thinking there was an original email that went out, so. The short answer is yes, there are a few changes, I gave you all of this for discussion purposes, but this wouldn't be, it needs to be changed in order before it's adopted,
Okay.
yeah,
That was my question.
yes.
And Mr. Chair, I mean, Tanya has one in place, so I feel like there are parts in here that could be.
Yeah.
Utilized just to tweak that could come before, almost as an update to the policy.
Yeah.
Versus this being a replacement, if you will.
Yeah.
I think Survey Monkey is a great option too.
I do like that I think there's a higher level of comfort because you know that it's anonymous, right, when you're the one filling it out. And some people want to sit down and have a face-to-face interview too, so I think that we want to make sure that they're aware that that's still an option. But we might have more success with people being open to when it's truly anonymous with an online survey like that, so.
Christine?
So would we give the employee the option at the exit interview if they wanna do a face-to-face or if they prefer Survey Monkey?
Yep, that's probably what we would do, yeah, that's I guess what we would do, otherwise we would give them all the online one and then within it say, you know, you also can discuss this in person, something like that, we can get those, right? So,
I'm in favor of that.
So moving forward, what do we wanna do?
I personally would like to see us be able to go back a little bit and provide this to, I mean, people, just so we can start somewhere with some feedback. We can determine what date it is, a year to whatever. But I think it is showing our former employees too that we want some feedback.
Yeah.
One thing that I will, you made a comment, Amy. There are times, of course, that we know we're not going to get a quality, right? So when you talk about eligibility, typically, you know, those who are interviewed are those who resign voluntarily, retire, or other separating employees as appropriate. I think it's well understood that if we have unfortunately to terminate somebody, our chances of probably getting quality information are not very good, right? And so I think we just need to use our discretion with that. We can certainly ask, but then I think we just need to know that the data we're receiving, might be skewed because perhaps that person, you know, not on the best terms. So,
So would there, oh, excuse me,
No, no, go ahead.
would there be a way to track that then when the employee submits, if it was a voluntary, if it was a retirement, if it was a term?
yeah, we can ask that. I could ask that question within a survey, right?
Okay.
I also think, sorry, Amy, I also think, again, maybe this reduces the anonymity aspect of it. But I also find personally that, on the form that I'm using right now, it's not on there, but I always ask if I'm doing the in-person interview is the length of time that they were employed with us.
Mhm.
I do think that sometimes we have differing opinions, where you've got like perhaps a long time employee versus somebody brand new. I just think that, sometimes those are different generations or different sets of employees, and we might be meeting the needs of one, but not of others. And so sometimes I think that's valuable information. Again, maybe they wouldn't be comfortable answering that if it gives us a clue as to who they might be. That's not the point, but I just think it's making sure we're meeting the needs of all of our employees is kind of the where I'm going.
Mr. Chair, I think generally, no matter what you do, it's going to be fairly apparent. I mean, if someone is fired, I still think you offer it, you never know, there could be some feedback that is helpful to us, and I would just like to see them not be required to fill everything out.
Sure.
If someone wants to offer how long they've been here working, I think that's great, but I don't think that should prevent them from moving forward with the survey. I don't think if they fill out
Sure.
4 of the 10 questions, we don't include it. You know, I just would like to see us be able to utilize some feedback and start somewhere.
Okay. I think that's helpful to me. I will get a survey put together and have it be part, and I can look back. Do you want me to be looking back and trying to share? I have done that in other locations with other agencies and to be fully transparent with very little luck. It's been difficult. I've not had a lot of response. I could try if that's what you want me to do, but it's not been very successful in other locations that I've tried, but.
Even a year, I'd be open to,
Mhm.
just the last year.
I'm fine with that.
Any other questions?
So that would be a Survey Monkey you would send?
Yeah. And I don't know if I'll be able to track, you know, if I have contact information, obviously, we can track, but may or may not be able to track these down either, but.
Yeah, we just can't use their county emails or anything.
Correct. But most of them provide us a personal email with our intake information with payroll, for payroll stubs and things like that, so I can try it that way, so.
And then you'll bring us at a future meeting, just an updated
Yep,
of that.
yep,
Thank you, Tanya.
yep. That's all I have.
Anything else? Do you have anything to add to that jail update?
No, I don't, that was, listed under my name just so that I can introduce all of them, so I don't have anything else. I do though. As a follow-up to Paul's question, I made a note for myself to ask Anne a little bit more information regarding the bond council costs. Because I think that was a fair question and nobody has the answer to it. Anne probably does, so I made a note for myself to ask her a little bit more about that, and if I get a response from her, I'll share you as information, so.
Thank you.
Jason?
Thank you, Donna.
Jason?
Morning.
Morning.
First things, for the halfway today, we'll start out with some good news. Bernie, Tyrone, Stewart, myself conducted 3 interviews 2 weeks ago. Those 3 good candidates and picked hairs between them, but we offered the position of Zach Bosch, and he actually started yesterday morning. So we'll welcome Zach to our crew. Think it'll be a good fit. He's been in and just gotta go get her kind of attitude, so it'll be good.
he's got the work ethic his dad and his grandma and grandpa have, will be good.
He's got a heavy mechanic background too, so I can see us using some more of that, with it as well.
Yeah, he displayed a pretty good work ethic just talking to him.
Yes. Yeah, it's what the questions that he answered and used in full depth, especially when it came to what would you do in certain situations? We've never had an answer like that for air brakes, freeze from the entire time I've been here, so.
To be honest, I learned a lot sitting in that interview.
Will he be in the Lincoln shop
It's
then?
based out of Lincoln Shop,
Okay, and who else is there?
Tyrone.
Tyrone, so the two of them now.
Yeah, tomorrow now will be there and Zach actually lives close to it, so that's a benefit for the department as well.
Did he come out of the Marines or Army?
Yeah.
Army.
Candidates are getting younger and pretty impressive too.
Yeah.
We're lucky, so.
Yeah. It took us a while to get candidates, but we did. That was good. The next item I have for you is just, you all knew where we were. These are, snow guidelines that were set by Sharon before I started. With our reduction in overtime that we have, this is where we're going to be leading them towards. It's not a catch-all. With what we had happen on Friday, we still ended up going out and covering part of our roads for salting and trying to get the straight thing off, like this weekend on Saturday. Just one of those things where we had to try and do something for the roads. Friday afternoon, I'm sure everyone's aware, there's a lot of road that got covered with a pretty heavy ice layer. Number 9, for some reason, didn't, so that allowed us to take people off of that stretch and send them further to the south, so, but this is kind of just like you all know when you get calls where we're based off of and why we are or not out there. And obviously, if the sheriff's department calls us for a roadblock, then we'll be looking for it.
I know, last year, a couple of years ago, we questioned the overtime. And this is part of it, so we're not out there doing things we don't have to do. And then I already got the highway review.
Yeah.
Or take a look at the overtime hours, how much less we were. I think we were like 2,000 down to, it was minimal. And that's what we asked, I guess.
So that's that part. The next item I have for you is in regards to Homie Dan. We had talked about this bringing Marie Solis and his wife back for this next year. It's still on the table. However, they were going on a vacation, or out to see some people that an accident in their camper was totaled. So they no longer have a camper that they'd be staying in. We took out the funding line for paying somebody to be out there. So I just wanna make sure that we're still on the same spot, to get direction from the police commissioners. Do we want somebody to be out there living in it, in the campground? Every campground was this, all the main, the reason that there's cleaning. Because if we're gonna go the other way where we're hiring and have a budget line for it, so I'm just kind of looking for some guidance on that.
Security system gets set up?
Yeah, security, right.
Think it's adequate? You think it is?
Is that start? It's always best to have somebody on site, but if the camera system's that's set up now, it helps, yes.
Amy?
Mr. Chair, a camp host, they are usually paid?
No,
No.
and they get their camping for free for the year as long as they do cleaning the bathrooms and picking up the fire pits and garbage around.
Okay.
That's what they got done. They didn't do any mowing or anything else.
Right.
Did it for cleaning and get a free site.
Okay, that's what I was thinking versus paying. Didn't Karen have someone too, a couple of years ago before that was maybe interested in camp host? Do you remember that?
Yeah, we did, I can put it, when I go back, I just put it out in the paper and see if we get it just that way. Yeah,
Is he thinking about getting another camper coming back?
not right now.
Okay.
He's not thinking about getting another camper, he's wondering about this, so I'd have to ask him if he's thought about getting another camper. At that point in time, they weren't, so.
Okay.
I would be in favor of, I feel the campground host worked well last year. I'd be in favor of putting an ad out or doing something to get another campground host. Maybe he'll change his mind and get a camper, but if not, I think we should look for someone else. I think having someone on site is is beneficial, especially if you're keeping the bathrooms clean and the fire pits, so you don't have to worry about all that.
Okay,
Okay.
I will let them know and then we'll go from there. The next item I have for you is to go with the Hagen Bridge that has been funded by the DOT. We have to go through an engineering RFP process for construction engineering. Ryan, Logan, and myself sat down with the interview for that. We only had one application for it, which was KLJ, which did all the design and everything anyways. We went through the interview, interviewed them on February 20th at 1 p.m. And at the interview afterwards, it was our recommendation for the commissioners to approve KLJ for BRJ 0050059, PCN number 23965 for construction engineering proposal. I'm looking for an authorization and a signature on this.
Do I have a motion to accept KLJ's engineering construction?
So moved.
I'll second.
Second, got a motion in a second. All those in favor, Penny,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Christie,
Yes.
Amy.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Motion
When was the cost of that?
Just over 600,000, and that'll be for the replacement of the Hagen Bridge and the removal of the Bridge Township. Bob's Township is section 1-2 right there.
And you think that will start this spring?
Yeah. Oh, well, it's as soon as they're able, so we have to wait until the fishing restrictions are off for those things, but I expect it to start June, July. So, it's a box culvert, and everything's already moving forward to it. I don't expect it to be more than a month. Usually those box culverts are in within 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, but rain events or some different things can sort of close things up, but we're not expecting any type of problems like we did on number 6 last year, so different contractor, but anticipate a good, quick project, so. Next is just a bridge update, for Minto. We met last week with water commission or water board and city commissioners of Minto. The city, authorized putting $5,000 towards the project. Columbia Green was up to $10,000, and with, the water board and the county picking up the remainder on the 60-40 split. The 60-40 would be 60% water board, 40% highway department, per century code, that's what that split has to be. So just wanted to bring that back with the changing of different columns and things. We're up to possibly 47,000 depending on what happens when we open it up. But we should be able to go from there. Right now, our intentions are to reuse all our rivers that are on site. If they have a rotting issue, then we're gonna have to do something else. But if the commissioners agree with this proposal today, I'll order those materials this afternoon or tomorrow morning, so we can get that and get it
So I guess I'm looking for a motion to approve the agreement on the Minto Bridge.
I'll make that motion.
Amy, second.
I'll second.
Motion and a second that we approve the Minto Bridge agreement. All those in favor?
Can we have discussion?
Yep.
Just a question. So our cost then, I was just roughly calculating in my head, around 15,000 for the county cost.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhere.
Paul?
Was there anything talked about as far as an agreement? You guys had talked about an agreement moving forward. I'm just curious if that.
Basically, I think there's gonna be something in writing, because they wanted a little bit more, but we basically told them it's our bridge, it's our responsibility. They were more worried going into this about the liability afterwards. And I think we answered that question. I don't know if you contacted them, or they're gonna want an agreement.
I haven't heard anything as no official agreement, no, we're leaning towards it, but it's our bridge. And it's said by the Supreme Court, it said it's our bridge, as water board knows it's our bridge, we know it's our bridge. Just going forward, there's the aspects of the maintenance and replacements that it could end up coming to a vote of the people on the drain to replace it when it comes down to it.
Kelly?
I was reached out to by Mr. Harmon. I think Jason was CC'd on that about they wanted an indemnification agreement. They did offer to draft that themselves for my review. So instead of myself drafting it, 'cause I'm not exactly sure what they want with regard to liability. My understanding is they are gonna draft an agreement and send it to me for review. As far as the fact that the $10,000 is the one-time donation and they don't wanna have any liability associated for the bridge, which I don't think we have any issue with that.
No, and that'd be Columbia Green.
Right. Oh,
Well, I just think even if there was some mention of it in the minutes that we're. Recognizing the fact that this is our bridge moving forward and the 60-40 split would apply in the future. Because if we don't document that somewhere, 25 years from now, they're gonna go through the exact same thing we just went through, so.
Kenny,
Are they gonna plat it then, so it's a public road, not private?
they never said,
Whatever, it was never determined on that,
I think if they haven't by now, they won't.
I don't know.
The water board had some questions this morning down there and because of they didn't wanna be, we got the easement. They didn't wanna be tied to the loader anyway either. So this is as long as they don't wanna be on that part of the road because they're only on the drain and the easement. So a lot of things you don't think of when you go through that. Oh, I guess we got a motion that we accept the bridge agreement with Minto. All those in favor? Christie?
Yes.
Danny?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Myself, yes. I guess at the end of it, I thank the water board and I thank Minto City and Columbia Grain. I said, I always felt that we could sit down and get to an agreement. And I thank them because, face it, Minto's got some things that they gotta worry about in the future too, and that's what we expressed, so. I think we all left there with a pretty good feeling. And it was nice to see, and I told him, I said, if we sit down and talk things over, we can work it out. And that's what we got to, and I was pretty proud of it, that we all, Trevor Slominski, and I get him, he didn't have much stake in the game. But, he had stated one time at one meeting that, maybe the Minto City should have some stake in here. And I saw him the other day and he thanked me for it, and I said, I thanked him. And he said, just you saying that, I think had Minto changed their mind a little bit, and so I think we got a good agreement and moving forward, everybody was happy. So, and I'd like to thank everybody, the water board included, for all the time and effort we had put into this, so.
That's off to the chairman for going up above and beyond.
Well, it's part of the deal, I knew we could do it,
You're a hometown boy that they fell on.
sometimes that's not good.
One of the things I needed to add was our gravel bids. Wasn't sure I was gonna get it up for you today. We opened them this morning and we got what you see in front of you is I had it up for a spreadsheet. These are the bids, we cleared up the paper. The number of bids that we're getting for gravel and rock supply get shorter every year. Strata used to, and not Knife River, they didn't submit us anything. But what we have here in front of you, what's highlighted in green is our lowest amounts. So our borrow clay is $3.50, pit run $3.50, class 13 screen is $5, crushed is $5, class 13 with plasticity is $99.75. Wash sand came in at $23.75. Sand baked sand is $5. Class 41 is $19. 1 inch minus rock is $15. 3 to 8 inch rock is $20.75. 6 to 12 inch rock is $24. And 12 to 24 inch fractured riprap is $38.75. Crushed concrete, $17.25. And hauling, we had 2 firms come in at 21 cents per mile. All the tonnages or all the prices for the material is per ton basis. So I wanna make sure that that's out there. It's not a per yard, it's a per ton. So with that, my recommendation to the board, for approval would be to hire Gus, G&T Trucking, Gus Thompson, at 21 cents a mile. With their 3 to 5 crossed out semis, or most with us, as we have in the past few years. The same price is in there for Lakeside that they have, but with their side dumps and the belly dumps, we don't get as much of a spread. We'd have to have them working more with our motor graders. Our opinion as the highway department that with Thompson's and their truss dump semis, we can send them outside of where we're working and get more gravel placed. When we have high-end projects that we need to get done, we pull them in and work with us, or right, with us as well, but this would give us those options, and if we needed to, for a really big instance, we'd be able to bring Lakeside in as well. We'll just talk about how we start, well, if we need more help, we go to the next one online, and they all know that when they bid it, so. My request is to have the board authorize everyone hired in green for us to move forward with this year for 2026 season.
Any questions?
Mr. Chair, is it possible for us to maybe see what the previous year was? I mean, are these all pretty much the same as what 25
The
was? or-
material prices are up a little bit,
Okay,
not much. Some of them are the same, some of them got up about 50 cents per ton. Since 2024, our line prices have actually gone down 1.5 cents.
Right.
Then last year, our prices this year are 0.5 cent lower than last year. So Jim and Gus are going back and forth at each other that way, so.
we need a motion to approve the prices as listed in green.
Second,
Second.
our motion is second to approve these prices that are presented to us. All those in favor, Paul,
Yes.
Danny,
Yes.
Amy, Christie,
Yes.
myself, yes, motion carried.
That's all I have for you, unless you have any questions for me.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Paul?
Yeah, Ed had received a couple of abatement applications before he left, so he asked me to present them to the commission. The first one is for Carol Munson, Life Estate. It's for a vacant farm residence exemption. It's really just a late application that didn't come in. To the property was added back to the tax roll. They filed late, it's been approved by the Dewey Township Board. So Ed's recommendation is for us to approve this abatement.
You wanna go through them all, you wanna do them individually, up to you. I'll just do them all.
Okay, second one is Jace Wareham. His property had a basement, finished basement listed on part of the house, and it's just a crawl space, so there was an error in the listing, so this is simply a clerical error which resulted in the lowering of the value from 457,000 to 398,000. Kensington Township approved the abatement as presented, and I would move to approve both of these.
Okay. Any other questions on them? Do I have a motion to approve both abatements? And a second?
I'll second.
A motion to, and approve, a second to approve both abatements, all those in favor? Amy?
Yes.
Danny?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Christie? Yes. Ernie? Yes. Motion carries. I guess, we're up to me now. I thought I'd bring it up, I've had some feedback from the portfolio holders and everything else on some of the agenda items. And, sometimes there's information that's talked about here, and if you don't talk to your portfolio holder or department, even if you're not the portfolio holder. I guess I'm getting some feedback from some of them that they wish they would know what you really want so they can come more prepared. And I just think it's just, I guess I've done it for years, whether it's my department or somebody, I've always contacted them if I want to talk to something at a meeting. Cause they're not worse than them coming in here and then we ask them something, or maybe a study or something, and they're not prepared, so I just think it's just. A courtesy or whatever, to talk to these department heads and say, hey, I wanna talk about this at the meeting. I want you just to be prepared, so that's about the only, was that negative, they just said, you know, it's hard to come to a public meeting and then be asked questions that we. Really don't have the information with us, so that's all I wanted to say, it's just, and they were all pretty nice about it, but I could see their point too, and it's hard to come to a public meeting and answer questions when you're not prepared. So, when I talked to Tanya on it too, and she said the same thing, if you got something and everything, try contact them to get prepared, I mean, it's just courtesy.
Sorry, I'd like to say that on the flip side for us as well. If there are things on the agenda, I mean, those are public record. But for department heads, for anyone, it's really nice for us to have the information ahead of time as well. Versus getting it the day of, you know, we're expected to make decisions on the spot, and for some of this stuff, it's a lot. And I don't always agree that we move forward with voting on it, so I would flip that on the other way as well, if it's. If it needs to be on the agenda, we need to have it ahead of time, or else it needs to go on the next agenda.
And I know since being here for a long time, if we don't feel comfortable and need more information, we sort of do delay it, but you're right, it works both ways, and there's times when. Well, some of this today, I looked at them, wow, you know, and I like to go home and look at it and. Just like the highway report, you can take it home next, you know, look at it, and I'm sure we'll talk about it next week, but there's a lot of information in there that you just can't absorb right away, so. That's all I needed, I guess I just wanted to address it, so. Next is sale tax forfeit on real estate.
Okay, so according to North Dakota Century Code 572817, tax deed may be sold to a city for any price agreed upon by the Board of Commissioners. So the city of Grafton has, proposed to buy the 3 lots that were left over from the tax delinquent sale for $1 for each parcel. So I just need approval, to sell those 3 parcels to the city of Grafton for $1.
Each.
$1 each, yeah, so 3 it's total.
Do I have a motion or do you question?
Both, I would make a motion and I have a question.
I will second.
Okay, question.
Wouldn't there be parcels in other cities as well that cities would want?
There's 2 more parcels in Adams, and I had sent the auditor the letter. Informing her that we have the 2 parcels available in Adams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, guess we got a motion to sell these 3 parcels to the city of Grafton for $1 each. All those in favor, Christie,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Danny,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
myself, yeah, motion carries. Well, we sort of approved the gaming permit already. The package, so we got anything on public comment?
No public comments were received.
Any on further on? I didn't even get it open.
I have one order of business that I would like to request discussion on. We have a certificate of deposit maturing at Citizen State Bank of Lincoln in the amount of $100,000. It renews tomorrow. We have 10 days to pull the deposit out of there, and we could deposit it into our general account if you commissioners feel that would be beneficial with our ongoing jail project. So if we could have a discussion about the CD, it's $100,000 CD, it matures tomorrow, and it's an opportunity to pull the money out and have at our disposal, you know, if we need it.
Do you know what the interest rate was on that?
It's 3.53%. And our ICS that we have in choice is at 3.5%.
Any discussion?
Mr. Chair, so our options are to leave it, or we would have to renew it.
Yeah, so it would be renewed for 1 full year. If we leave it.
Do we have to earmark it for the, I mean, I'm in favor if we need to put it in the general, but does it have to be earmarked for something specific?
Nope, so it can just go into your bank account, the general fund bank account that you use. It'll still be earmarked according to our fund balances, but we'll have access to it before the year is up.
Any other discussion?
Could you explain when you say it would be earmarked according to our fund balance and then?
So everything in the bank account is designated to a fund in our accounting system. Okay, so right now it is designated towards a fund. We just can't access it because it's wrapped up in a CD. So you could move it to our main bank account and be able to access it if we needed it.
And what fund is it attached to?
Well, it could be any of the funds, it's $100,000, so.
I think the purpose of it was keep us below that 75% general fund balance. We had to earmark them for something.
So that came out of the general fund.
I assume, so.
Most likely.
Yeah,
I think any of your CDs probably came out of that.
we had to designate to stay under that 75% cap.
Mr. Chair, when was this established? Do we know?
I don't remember.
I can go look at their original certificate, if you want, I can run and grab it.
I guess it doesn't really matter when it was established, we just put it in there to.
Well, I mean, I'm saying, was it in the last 2 years? Was it in the last 5 years? Was it 10 years? I mean, it's been a while.
I think it's been a while, but I can go look.
Mr. Chair, so, excuse me, the way I'm understanding this is. You just need to do something with this money now, and we know that we're going to have costs coming. You would put it in the general bank balance, we haven't attached it to a fund yet, right? By putting it into that general bank balance, or would it be attached to the general fund?
So everything in our bank accounts is earmarked for something in our accounting system.
Okay.
This is $100,000, so it could be, I mean, truly, it could be your county general fund. We have $7 million in our main bank account that we use day to day. That doesn't mean it's earmarked for county general, it could be. Like, when I say earmarked, that means in our accounting system, and we have funds in our accounting system that are designated by century code. If they're in that fund, we could not use it for the jail, for operating costs or whatever, it has to go towards whatever that fund is. Now, right now, we have a lot more in our bank account because we had tax payments in February that we have not paid out to the entities yet. So we don't have an accurate picture right now because we have all the extra money in our bank account that needs to be paid out. Anything that is designated to your general fund, our balance right now is 6.2 million. The commission has the authority to direct those funds.
Let's set up a jail fund. That's it,
Can we?
pull out for these expenses.
I mean, you have the capital project and you have the capital improvements. Funds,
That's
so
how I
we
view
could
those.
set up expense accounts. In those funds. We would need to do a budget amendment to add. Budget items, expenses to one of those funds.
I personally see with budget season, right around the corner, I mean, I would like to know this, it's nice to know this is there, an option, I just don't feel that, I personally prefer we declare it. Like, can it be in county general so that come budget time?
So you can move it into county, I mean, the action would be to move it into county general. Well. So you can move it without declaring it to a specific fund. So the action would be to take it out of a CD where it's wrapped up for a year and transfer it to your regular bank account. So it won't change any of our numbers in the accounting system. It would just change that we would have access to $100,000 before the year is up that we didn't have access to before because it's tied up in a CD.
Oh,
And the interest rate is virtually the same.
Yes, correct.
what's the wishes?
Probably just about transfer if the rates are the same, not have it tied up.
Do I have a motion?
So move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A motion that we transfer the CD from Citizens and Land to our choice. Our choice.
Choice bank is our main bank account.
and we transfer it to the general fund.
So,
How do you wanna word
no,
that?
we don't wanna make a motion to transfer it to the general fund. You just wanna make a motion to transfer it out of a CD into our main bank account so we can
Okay.
access it if we need it.
You got what she said. Okay, I got a motion, the second, all those in favor, Danny,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Christie,
Yeah.
Amy,
Yes.
myself, yes, motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? I think we got everything covered. Mr. Butler, thank you for the calendar and the goodies. You guys wanna say anything or?
I will make sure I get some, was thinking we got hats, so I think I'm bringing some roses or something.
And a couple
Maybe we probably like something like that.
and a couple desk calendars, please.
Something does,
Yeah.